We journal for a lot of reasons. We journal to keep record. We journal to tell our story. We journal sometimes to get those thoughts and those swirling emotions out of our head and onto paper, right? But in all of that, are you flexing your creativity within the journaling process? My first guest this morning says all of those goals can work together for a practice that is both fulfilling and fun. Lettering artist and instructor Melissa Esplin has 5 ways to spice up your journaling. It's so great to see you.
So great to be here.
You have brought a plethora of inspiration today. And when I say journaling, I almost hesitate to use that phrase. I think people tune out thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna grab my black ink pen, I'm gonna grab a piece of paper, I'm gonna scribble it out. You really take journal to an artistic level.
Yeah, it's a fun way to explore your creativity in a really low stress environment. If you don't like what you do, close the book or open it up to a different page.
When did you start looking at journaling with this new artistic eye? What prompted you to do that?
You know, it wasn't until 2018. I felt this need to get off my phone during church, and I wanted to write the things that resonated with me the most. So that was when the church notes was born, and I started kind of snowballed from there. So I have a church notes journal.
That's a series you do.
Yes, and then I have, I call it trail prizes. So it's all the fun things about the trails and adventures that I go on. And then I have like explorations where I explore different artistic styles, and there's no holds barred, no style. It's just like I can do whatever I want.
Free-form fun.
Free-form, yes.
Well, you've got 5 ways, as I said, to spice up our journal with those projects, I'm sure, in mind. And I really admire the creative push in each one of these ideas. So first you say this starts small. Well, not small, actually. It starts big. But it's a small idea. You want us to write really big.
Yes, writing really, really big. So it takes up a lot of space. So you don't have that pressure to write clever prose or anything. You can just take up a lot of space.
I don't have to be wise. I don't have to be prophetic. I just need to get those words onto paper in a big fun way.
In a big fun way. It just really draws the attention to the letters and what you're doing. It's really fun. The best way to do that is to get a really big marker. So Sharpie brush pens. My personal favorite is the Pigma BB or bold brush.
I love when people nerd out on pens. It feels like just like the most detailed artistic tool we can focus in on. So you like this one because why?
Number one, it's waterproof. So I can add color after the fact and it's gonna stay put. But also it has a really big, bold brush. So I can go big.
Do you think more carefully about your words when you're using this technique? Like, what are the words that I
try to just go simple. I'm a very simple person. Like when I write a thank you note, it's like, dear so-and-so, thank you for this, love Melissa. Because I don't get clever. I'm like, well, if I go big, then I can be simple the way that I like to.
I like that. I like that. All right, your next technique or your next way to spice up journaling is to break your page into boxes.
Yes. So working within a box, we can actually be really creative because then we want to burst out of that box.
Do you draw the box first?
Yes. So you can draw it out with a ruler, but I'm lazy and I don't always have a ruler with me. So one thing that I do is I will draw in pencil my grid marks and just roughly sketch out like, okay, this is half that page, this is half that page, and then I'll draw my boxes within that. So this one,
Can I hold this up?
Yes. So this conference can be really stressful. If you're going to general conference, if you're listening to it, there's so much that's jam-packed into every session. So breaking it down into boxes and just writing one thing per box really helps you zero in what the actual message really is.
Okay, so that's what you've done here. Boxes first, and then the messaging goes into it's almost like a frame.
Yeah.
You frame the message.
Yeah, and sometimes I like burst out of the box a little bit because it's fun to just kind of break those rules. I create rules so that I can break them.
I could just stare at this forever. And do you go back and read these and be inspired all over again?
Especially like when I'm having like religious discussions with people, I'll be like, oh yeah, and I remember this thing, and I'm a visual learner and visual rememberer, so I can go back to the pages and be like, yes, this was the quote that I really resonated with.
It syncs with you in a different way, doesn't it? And I find that this is, I don't want to make any sort of parallel in what I'm about to say, but I find that too, we have a family thread where we're constantly like sharing thoughts, sometimes religious thoughts, or what the kids said, I mean, on a lighter note, funny things. And something about getting it out, you remember. Like I can draw upon those words and those memories and those moments so much more easily if I've expressed them in some way.
Yes, and there's scientific proof that writing it down helps you remember better.
I believe it. I do.
Yeah.
All right, a curved line is your next creative challenge.
Yes.
If we're journaling, you say kind of take it on an angle.
Yes, so one of the main excuses that I get for like, oh, I don't want to journal, I don't want to do this creative stuff, I can't draw a straight line, I can't write on a straight line.
That's people's excuse?
Then don't. There's no need to write or draw on a straight line, ever, ever, ever. So one thing that I do to make sure that it's successful is I draw out guidelines. So if you look very carefully, it's really hard to tell on screen, but there are pencil markings throughout every single one of my journal pages.
You pencil first.
I pencil a lot of my things first. Master penmen, who were the best calligraphers and writers in the world, in history, used pencil. So I can too.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so we love pencil.
Show us the art of the curved line.
Okay, so I'm using my whole arm. I'm using my whole arm to create this nice arc. So I'm kind of keeping my elbow in the same spot while pivoting my whole arm. So I'm just kind of going like this.
Yep.
And I'm creating, and I'm just moving my elbow down a little bit and just creating that arc. And then I will write on that.
For some reason, I thought there was going to be a protractor involved. I thought there was going to be some sort of template.
No,
or
because
stencil.
I'm lazy.
I would beg to differ, but okay, different interpretation of that word. All right, you've created the arc just with using your whole hand, your whole arm as the tool, and then what?
And then we just write within that. And one of the things you want to think about is, so this is like our point of reference.
Okay.
So we're radiating out from this, right? So I'm drawing, my A is going to be at this angle, and my A is going to be at that angle. It's very slight, very different, but it works, and that slight adjustment, the eye sees it, and that consistency really comes through. The eye looks for that consistency and can see it. So even though it's on an angle, even though it's really organic, there's still a lot of consistency
You've
there.
got an A point and a B point, so to speak, and you're going to work the phrase or work the sentence along those lines.
Yeah.
I love it, Melissa. Okay, drawing on a curved line. Adding borders is something else you say we can do.
Okay, yes. So one of those things is like, okay, I'm writing this phrase out. I want my spacing to be perfect. And so there's all this stress and anxiety over making your spacing perfect. Oftentimes, words don't allow you to have perfect spacing. It's just awkward. So you know what I do? I cheat, and I do borders around it.
The words that are falling off are the words that don't fit.
Yeah, if the words don't fit, or it just looks a little bit off and it doesn't look quite square and nice and tidy or center justified, then I'll create a border. And oftentimes it'll be, if I'm really having like a hanging word out there, I will do a cloud. I'll do a cloud-like border around it.
A little bubble.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because it doesn't, like I can have just one word just kind of hanging off the edge.
Yes.
And it just is encapsulated by that little
And
cloud.
suddenly it's on purpose and it's intentional.
And the eye is like, ooh, this is really fun.
Okay, finally your fifth creative challenge my 13-year-old self is celebrating. You want us to write with pretty pens.
Yes.
Colorful, metallic.
Yes, go. I mean, I realized, it was a couple of years ago, I'm a grown woman. I get to do the things that my 10-year-old self like never dreamed of, which is so silly, but it includes going to the store and buying all the jelly rolls.
I can have the rainbow collection of my dreams.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So these are my favorite jelly rolls. They just came out. They're available at Michael's, and they are sparkle. So you can get sparkly jelly rolls. So it adds this really nice bit of glitter. So I want to show you.
Let's see.
Let's see if we can zoom in.
Kind of that subtle effect
yes,
right
it's
here.
just so subtle.
It's like a metallic
But if you
sheen.
look at it like in real life, it just kind of shimmers, and it just really captures the eye.
Oh, well, and
so
to do the highlighting with all of those fun sheens.
So like getting the art supplies, getting the colors, getting the watercolors, adding color to it.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, a boring layout is like exciting and feels beautiful and finished and polished.
You say an average layout takes you 1 to 2 hours, depending on how complex and how intricate. You can see more of Melissa's work on Instagram, and I encourage you to jump over to her Instagram page because it is so inspiring, just cathartic even, to look in on your work and see how you're doing it, and it prompts me, even in my own simple thank you writing efforts, to take it slower and be a little more thoughtful and have fun at the same time. You're teaching a workshop too, a journaling workshop we want to tell people about.
It is absolutely free workshop. Free. Free. We love free. It's through Michael's, and it's with Sakura jelly rolls, these retractable jelly rolls that I'm so obsessed with. So if you want to sign up, head to my Instagram at Melissa Fur. You can get all the details there.
Okay, we'll link you from our website so you can jump on board this fun opportunity, this free opportunity to get more creative and have fun with your journaling. Melissa, great to see you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Happy summer, Fred.